For 2023, the Jeep Compass gets a power bump with a new 2-liter turbocharged engine. Is it any good? We're going to find out right now as we put it to the test here on our mountain test course. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. In early 2022, we bought a Jeep Compass Trailhawk in Texas and drove it home all the way to Seattle. It was a nice little car with a really nice interior, excellent all-wheel drive, and decent looks. There was just one problem. It was slow, like ridiculously slow. For this new year, Jeep has shoved a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder under the hood. This produces a peak 200 horsepower and an impressive 221 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a standard 8-speed automatic, and power goes to all 4 wheels through a GKN all-wheel drive system. Towing capacity is rated at 2,000 pounds. Our test vehicle is loaded with almost $10,000 in extra options, including the Elite, Sun and Sound, and Driver Assist packages. Prices you see it here, $46,290 US, including destination. But considering it starts at just over $36,000, clearly you don't need to spend this much money to get a Compass with a turbo. Not only is this new Compass Trailhawk faster, it's also more economical, with an EPA rating of 24 mpgs in the city and 32 on the highway. Across the board, that's 2 mpgs better than the old pokey Tiger Shark engine. Inside, there's a lot to like here. Full leather interior, seats that are both heated and ventilated, there's a digital gauge cluster, and a large, easy-to-use Uconnect infotainment system. It supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, in addition to being a great surround view camera system. Because this is a Trailhawk edition, it's loaded with extra off-road goodies, including the Select Terrain traction management system, a 20-to-1 crawl ratio, hill descent control, underbody skid plates, high clearance bumpers, and 8.6 inches of ground clearance. Tires are Falken Wild Peak HTs, which are pretty basic. They are wrapped around a nice set of 17-inch wheels. Today we're going to run this through all of the roads here at our mountain test course to see if it's any good. And we're going to start with Gopher Run. Okay, here we are inside a Jeep Compass, and it's kind of like coming home because I owned one of these last year. And it was a fun little car, but man, was it slow. So the interior here is really nice. In 2022, they updated it, so it has basically the Wagoneer interior. We have nice use of plastics, metal. We do have some piano blacks that are absolutely blinding me right now because the sun is reflecting off of them in my eyes. Not great, don't love that. But overall, it's a pretty nice design. We also have this really good Uconnect system that has all sorts of features. We even get a surround camera on there, which is nice. So the first hill we're going to do is called Gopher Run, and it is supposed to be one of the easier hills. It does peak out at about 18 degrees in spots, plus it's fairly loose because it's dry. So it's kind of a sandy surface. So in these conditions, something like an all-terrain tire would help a lot. I'm not expecting great things out of these Wild Peak HTs because they are essentially all seasons. Okay, so for this first thing, I'm not going to do any settings. I'm not changing anything here. I'm basically just keeping it in drive. I'm not even doing 4-wheel drive lock, and I'm keeping the terrain management system on auto so we can kind of see what this thing is capable of out of the box with no settings and no knowledge about what we're doing. Now we do have some deep ruts on the left here. I'm going to try to hug the corner so that I'm, come on, all-wheel drive system, shift that power around. Oh, it's having issues already. Oh, it's figuring it out though, and it gets up it. So that's the technique on a lot of these all-wheel drive systems, is that you just keep your foot in the floor and it'll figure out how to move forward given the traction that it has. It uses brake vectoring, so it'll be applying brakes to try to move the vehicle forward. It's similar on this vehicle to systems that we see in like the Ford Maverick, Subaru Forester. They just have different degrees of capability, but they are basically doing the same thing. Okay, so this is a bit of a struggle, but we are getting up it, which is nice to see. All those beeping going off, yeah, that's our, that's all the grass and plant life that's grown up here over the last couple days. Whoa, hello. Little transition there, and all of a sudden it is not doing good. So let's not totally destroy the tires. Let's see what we got outside here. So it's really soft. Oh, we've uncovered some rock. So it's just a grip. It's a grip issue here, as I expected. Now, if you've ever seen me do this, oh, I hate that. I'm at an angle, and it's not going to release my belt, not until I get level. Come on. This is ridiculous. If I'm in park, it should let me do my belt. Anyway, I can't do my belt now. So to help the vehicle know the situation a little bit better, I'm going to go put this into four-wheel drive lock, and I'm also going to do it in four-wheel drive low. I was going to save that for later, but we're already in a sticky situation, so let's do it. Now, four-wheel drive low, what it does here, it does not have a transfer case. Instead, what we're doing is going into first gear, which is a specialized gear that gives us a 20-to-1 crawl ratio. So we're in drive, four low, four-wheel drive lock. I'm still keeping the terrain management system in auto. And let's just see if we can go forward without slipping too much. Yeah, we're gonna have to roll into this, I think. There we go. Okay, and forward, charge, come on, throttle in. This is the part which is 18 degrees, by the way. So this is pretty steep. I am kind of annoyed that I can't put my seatbelt on though. Okay, get a little momentum. Yep, and it figures it out. It just took a little momentum, a little logic, and away we go. Same issue here. Come on, figure it out. You just keep the throttle in. Now, in conditions like this, yeah, just switching out to a proper all-terrain would have made that a lot easier. But it has the tools to get us up it, which is great and bodes well for the harder parts of the course. Now, I will say a vehicle with a proper four-wheel drive system like my old 4Runner or the Ranger that I have right now, those would get up that no problem. Put some all-terrain tires on it, they roll right up it. This vehicle, obviously, with the Wild Peak HTs, not great. And with the fact that it doesn't actually have a proper locking diff, means that it's going to struggle a little more. And hey, I can do my seatbelt again. How nice. Okay, let's do this. Now we're heading off to the Rattler. Now the Rattler is a little rockier. It also has a steeper climb out, more challenging. So with that one, we're going to test out some more of these features. Okay, this hard turn right into Rattler. I'm going to go and turn on the surround camera. Is there a way to set this so it automatically turns on? There probably is. That's a nice camera. So, follow the ridge road. And then we're going to set up. Oh, this is all rutted out from the wet season. So I'm going to ride this ridge a little bit on the inside here. So what we have here is basically a logging trail that we built. It matches some of the worst logging trails in the Pacific Northwest mountains. It is made of 4x8 rock, and it is fairly uneven with a steep climb at the end where there is no rock because, of course, it gets kicked out. That always happens. So right here, I'm going to keep it in four-wheel drive lock. I'm going to keep it in four-wheel drive low so we get that 20-to-1 crawl ratio. And that's basically it. Hey, you know what we could use? Let's use the multi-select terrain system here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in rock for this first bit because we don't want any excess wheel spin. That's going to be the most aggressive at applying brakes to the wheels to keep those wheels from spinning. We just found the 8.7 inches of ground clearance right there. Yeah, it sounds like a lot until it isn't. So the way our courses are designed here is that we can take proper four-wheel drive. Why am I hitting so many rocks? That was a hard hit. What the heck, man? I was going to say, we can take like proper four-wheel drive vehicles through this, and it's super easy. You put a crossover out here, all of a sudden you have issues. What do we got? Huh. Thanks, bug. Just a lot of rocks. So when we run these in the hard season, basically spring and fall and winter, it does move the rocks around a little bit. So when we bring a crossover out here, sometimes unexpected hits happen. Just pulling back to make sure we're all good here. Ah, this guy right here. That guy right there. Let's move him over there. Let's move that over there. That right there. Okay, now we're climbing on top of the rocks instead of bottoming out over the rocks. Oh, and by the way, I got to keep an eye out for snakes. There's lots of rattlers out here right now. Pick up a rock, you might find a snake. Especially on the Rattler. Whew. We're barely on here. We're having issues with clearance. Yes, this has underbody protection. No, I don't really want to scrape the whole underside because you might just find the one spot that doesn't have coverage. This isn't a full, well, let's listen. Okay, that's a little better now. This isn't a full underbody package here. You know, that's aftermarket. Pretty much nothing comes with that from the factory, with the exception of some purpose-built off-roaders. Ooh, wow, can't believe that was an issue. Wonder how we're gonna climb out of here now. It's gonna be fun. And it's gonna be super sketch. So I'm not gonna take any chances here. I am basically going to floor it and see what we do. And I'm also gonna take the outside line, which is a little easier than the inside line based on the issues we had getting up Gopher Run. I think that's the smarter choice. Also, I want wheel spin. I don't want the wheels to apply the brakes. If they start spinning, I want to keep that momentum up, so I'm putting it into sand and mud mode, because the sand and mud, you need to keep spinning. So here we go. Momentum, a little speed, but not so much that we knock the undercarriage out if we hit a rock, and keep it moving. Ooh, I can feel that power shifting. Oh, power cut. Come on, you got this. You got this. It's cutting that power. It's moving that power, and we made it up. Wow, that was really challenging. And it's interesting how dramatic the power application is on this vehicle. Some vehicles, when you put it into like a trail mode, there's a little bit of wheel braking. This one's pretty severe. It's pretty extreme in a good way. Okay, we got one more challenge coming up, and that is the Sidewinder. Let's see how it does. So this is a good time to try the hill descent control, not because this is a particularly tricky hill, but it is steep enough to test the feature. Now I have a little button down here. I have to be in 4-low to use it. Turn it on. There we go. Okay, when I take my foot off the brake, it rolls a couple feet and then it engages. And this gives me a slow controlled descent. Now can I increase the speed or decrease the speed? No. Other Jeeps let me do that. This one does not. Turn off the parking sensors here because they keep going off. Speaking of sensors, this vehicle has really annoying blind spot warning. Even if I'm parallel with a car and we're both turning left in like a double lane or something, screeching alarms in my ears. Not cool, kind of hate it. Not fun. So now that I'm rolling down here, it's giving me a nice hill descent control. Individual wheels are braking to keep me on track. I can always add more throttle or add more brake as I like, or I can just deactivate it and get on my way, which is what I'm going to do. So now, ooh, a little rub there. So now we're going to climb up the Sidewinder, and this road has been through a few different iterations. Right now, I would rate it a fairly easy iteration. We have some rocks on the inside, and then we have a steep climb out. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into rock mode. Shouldn't be too hard. The real challenge here is going to be the climb out. I'm going to put it in drive. I'm going to go ahead and stick it into rock mode because I want minimal wheel spin over those rocks. I don't want to be like rock machine gun going on here. The 20-to-1 crawl ratio is pretty nice for a little compact crossover. Although to give you an idea, some Jeeps have like a 60-to-1. So Yeah. Come on, let's see that wheel braking. Pull us over. I'm just keeping the throttle on evenly, and then it's just figuring it out. And again, like our proper off-roaders can get through that no problem. This one does struggle a bit. It's riding the struggle bus, but it gets through. Now this one, oh boy, this one's gonna be tough. So on this segment, I'm going to put it into sand mud because I want that extra wheel spin to get me through the soft stuff. And there's a lot of soft stuff here. It's a very sandy surface. Drive, four-wheel drive low, four-wheel drive lock, and let's just do it if we can. Come on, you got this. Up, 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 up. Come on, momentum, momentum. Oh, it's cutting power. So if you're yelling at your screen, turn traction control off. I do want to note that when you go into 4 low, it automatically disables traction control. So there is no extra traction control to disable. Let's floor it. Up and over. I feel like if we could just get it, it's so close. I'm just keeping the throttle in. Throttle in. I'm all the way to the floor. It's figuring it out and it gets it up. Yes. Good job, Compass. Nice. The extra power helps in situations like that where you're really struggling and you're just basically deadlifting the vehicle up the hill. So that's the Jeep Compass with the 2-liter turbo. It is a phenomenal little crossover. You do pay the price if you're gonna load it with all of this stuff, so it's not cheap. But if you wanna spend the money and you wanna get, you know, a little capable crossover with deluxe accommodations, the Jeep Compass is a really great little rig. Now granted, it doesn't have a dual range gearbox, it doesn't have, you know, a locker in the back, but for a vehicle like this, I think it's a good choice. That said, in terms of capability, the Ford Bronco Sport, the little one that competes with this one, is actually more capable because it has that twin clutch rear that can really lock up and send power equally to both wheels in tricky situations. This one is relying on wheel braking exclusively, but the wheel braking is very good on this vehicle. But I think that, you know, the world is our oyster right now, right? I mean, you can get the Trailhawk with this really great 2-liter turbo engine. If you don't mind something slower, the Subaru Forester Wilderness is a phenomenal choice. And then the third option, yeah, it's the Bronco Sport from Ford. All of them really good. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them. We'll see you again real soon, right here.